Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are good. So today we will be talking about some more NUST entry test past paper questions which are related to the math section, specifically from the 18th chapter, that is Introduction to Analytic Geometry. So let's get started. Okay, before talking about the questions, we'll be talking about some examples, and I'll give you a quick overview just so we are good with the contents. Okay, now the very first thing is the discussion about centroid of a circle. Okay, of a triangle, sorry. All right, so yeah, this is the very first thing which we need to understand, because you look at these questions once we talk about the past paper questions. Centroid of a triangle, so it says determine the coordinates of the centroid of a triangle whose vertices are -1, -3, 2, 1, 8, -4. Now we know a triangle has three vertices. So these are the three vertices, and you are interested in finding the centroid of this triangle. Okay. What exactly is a centroid of a triangle? All of that is a big discussion, but let's see how to find it out. Okay. All right. So the vertices coordinates are -1, -3, 2, 1, 8, -4. This is what we have. So using this, we can write down x1 as -1, x2 as 2, and x3 as 8. Similarly, I can write down the y coordinates y1, y2, and y3. -3, 1, and -4. Once we have x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3, this is the formula for the centroid of a triangle. How do we find out the centroid? Okay, so we do x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3, y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. Okay, this is the formula which we need to understand, and this is something which you have to memorize, so I'll be highlighting it. I hope it's still readable. This is the formula. In order to find the centroid, you need to do x1 plus x2 plus x3. You add up all the x coordinates of the vertices, all the y coordinates, and you're dividing it by 3. Okay, now you need to substitute the values, and the final answer is 3 and -2. So this is the centroid of a triangle. Okay, so this would be your answer. Now the working is clear. You'll be given with the triangle. You can figure out the three vertices, or the vertices would be given. You need to add up the x coordinates and the y coordinates, and you need to divide them by 3. All right, so this was the very first example. Okay, then the next thing which we need to understand over here in this chapter is how to find the equation of a line. Now, equation of a line can be of several types. It could be in the slope intercept form, point slope form. Let's see what is happening in the slope intercept form. So, this is slope, this is intercept. This is your slope gradient, and this is your intercept, right? So this is called the slope intercept form because the slope and the intercept, they are clearly mentioned. The slope intercept form is useful if the slope m and the y-intercept are known. The equation of a line with slope -2 and y-intercept 0, 3 is written as follows. So we can see this is one way of writing down the equation of a line, and through this way the slope is clear, it is -2, and the y-intercept is also clear, it is 3. Alright, let's talk about the second one. It is the point slope form. When we say point slope form, x1 and y1, this is the point lying on your line, and m is basically your slope. So when it says point slope, x1 and y1 would be indicating the point, and slope would be m. So it would be y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. The point slope form is useful if the slope m and point x1 y1 is given, right? All right. So these are the two types of equations. Let's talk about the third thing. Okay, this is also an important concept. Find the angle between two lines having slopes 1.5 respectively. Now you have two lines, and you know that the slope of first line is 1 and the slope of second line is half. You need to use a formula in order to find the angle between the two lines, and here is your formula: tan of theta. This theta is the angle between the two lines, so tan of that angle is equal to the gradient of first line minus the gradient of second line divided by 1 plus the product of both the gradients. Okay, again I'll be mentioning this is very important. Tan theta, theta is the angle between the two lines, is equal to the difference of the two gradients divided by 1 plus the product of both gradients. Okay, so the gradients are 1 and 1 by 2, so I will plug in 1 and then 1 minus 1 by 2 divided by 1 plus m1 into m2, that would be 1 by 2 into 1, and upon simplification it would give you 1 by 3. Now you are interested in the angle, so you will take tan from there to here and it would give you tan inverse 1 by 3. Now it depends on the choices you have. It could be that you give the final answer this way, you write down the answer as tan inverse 1 by 3, or you use the table which you will have to memorize. You can find the value of tan inverse 1 by 3, right? Also, it also depends if your answer should be in degrees on radians. That totally depends on the examiner. If they are making it clear, then obviously you need to be specific about it. Otherwise, you can just give the answer this way. Now, the value of tan inverse 1 by 3 cannot be calculated from the table, like this specific value for 1 by 3. So, for such questions, you can leave the answer this way, and you would certainly be having such choices, right? So, don't think about it that you would not be able to do anything without calculator. The exam is designed this way that you would be certainly able to do the uh, questions. Even if you have an average mental maths level, you can still do it. Okay, let's talk about the next thing. Okay, the next concept is basically about the slope of a line. All right, now you need to determine the slope of a line perpendicular to 3x minus 7y equals 21. One thing should be clear: if two lines are parallel, their slopes would be equal. If two lines are perpendicular, then the product of their slopes is going to be minus 1. This is something which you need to keep in account. This is something that is mandatory and you have to understand this concept. Okay. So, in order to find the slope of a line perpendicular to this line, you need to first convert this to the slope intercept form, just so you can see the gradient. You can find the slope of this line, and then using this relationship right here, you can just figure out the slope of the perpendicular line. So this would become 3x minus 21 equals 7y. So y would be 3 by 7x minus 3. This would be the slope intercept form of the equation of this line. And I know that the coefficient of x is basically the gradient of the line, that is 3 by 7. So 3 by 7 is the gradient of this line. The negative reciprocal would be minus 7 by 3. So minus 7 by 3 would be the gradient of the perpendicular line. That is something we need to understand. So that is it. These were some contents which you need to keep in mind before solving the questions from this 18th chapter, that is Introduction to Analytic Geometry. So yeah, that is it. Now let's talk about the past paper questions. Okay. All right. So here is the first question. Now it says, the centroid of a triangle with vertices 2, 3, minus 1, 6, and 7, 5. Now, I know that some of you would not be having a concept about centroid, but trust me, right now our priority is getting into NUST. We don't have that much time to understand what exactly a centroid is. We need to use the formulas, do good practice without calculator, without formula sheet, and just get the job done. Okay. Now, we know that the formula for centroid is basically x1 x x1 plus x2 plus x3, this thing divided by 3, comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 divided by 3, and this is going to give you 2 minus 1 7, that is 8 by 3. Now I can clearly see that the x coordinate of the centroid would be 8 by 3, and the only option that has the x coordinate as 8 by 3 is C. So the answer is clear. It would be C. I can cross out all the options. And in the exam, there's no point in wasting your time and finding this part of the question. No, just don't do that. You're just supposed to know the correct answer, and that is possible even if you're halfway done. But just for the sake of completeness, right now I'll be doing it completely, but otherwise there's no point of doing it completely, right? So it is 3 plus 6 plus 5 divided by 3, and it is going to be 8 by 3 and 14 by 3. So the answer is going to be C in this case. Alright, so this was the first question. Let's talk about the next one. Okay. Now it says slope of a line parallel to y-axis. Now imagine you have a line that is parallel to y-axis. What is the slope of y-axis? If two lines are parallel, their slopes are same. If a line is parallel to x-axis, it would be horizontal, its slope is 0. If a line is parallel to y-axis, it would be vertical, so its slope would be infinity. That is undefined, right? So the answer is going to be B in this case. Imagine this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. I'm sorry about this drawing. This is y and this is x. If you have a line that is parallel to y-axis, it would be something of this type or this type. We know that their slopes would be same as the slope of y-axis. That is, it would be infinity. Now, if the slope of a line is infinity, you should know that infinity is considered to be undefined basically. So if this is infinity, I can write it as undefined. So the answer is going to be B for this question. Okay, let's talk about another one. Okay, now this is question number 3. The equation of line through minus 3, 5 and perpendicular to line x plus 2y plus 3. Now students, one thing should be clear. Whenever you have been asked to find the equation of a line, we know we have multiple ways. We have slope intercept form, then we have discussed point slope form and so on. So it is completely your choice. You can start off with the point slope form, you can end up with the slope intercept form, but in all the options we have this form, right? So we will just find the equation first and then we'll try converting it to this form and then we'll find the answer. Now let's begin with the point slope form, that is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. This is the formula for point slope form. Now I need to understand a few things. x1 and y1. These are the coordinates of the point lying on my line, that is minus 3 and 5, and this m is the slope of that line. Now can anyone tell me how am I supposed to find the slope of a line? I do not have any other point, so I cannot use the gradient formula. I do not have the gradient given directly. I just have an equation of a line that is perpendicular to the line whose equation I'm finding. Okay, so that is a separate case. The equation is x plus 2y plus 3 equals 0. This line is perpendicular to this line. Okay, to this line basically. So I need to find the gradient of the perpendicular line, and then by using the concept of negative reciprocal, I will find the gradient of my line whose equation I'm finding basically. So for that I need to make y the subject. So the slope is going to be minus 1 by 2. The slope is going to be minus 1 by 2. Minus 1 by 2 is the slope of the perpendicular line. The slope of this line would be 2. It would be the negative reciprocal of minus 1 by 2. And the point is minus 3 and 5. So let's plug in all the values. It would give me y minus 5 equals to x plus 3. And upon simplification, I'm going to get y minus 5 equals to x plus 6. Okay. Based on this, I can see, although my answer and the answers given, like none of the answers match, but I can see that the coefficient of x would be 2 and the coefficient of y would be 1. Okay, so C and D cannot be the answers. The answer would either be A or B. Let's simplify it further. So I can make a 0 here by taking y and minus 5 to the other side. 2x minus y plus 6 plus 5 would give me plus 11. And now the answer is clear. The answer is going to be B. This step and this step was important. I do such things just so the students are clear about the idea that in any team you would only be working on MCQs. That is it. So if you work and if you think about things logically, then in that case you would be able to find the correct answer, even if the concept is not like the concept should be clear, but even if your mental maths or if you're not that sharp, even if you're not that fresh in the exam, still you can get good marks by thinking about things logically, right? So logic matters a lot here. All right, okay, let's talk about the next question, that is the fourth one. Okay, now the fourth question says point of intersection of pair of lines 7x plus 2y equals 6 and 3x plus y equals 0. Now you have two lines. You need to find the point of intersection. So this is simple. You need to solve the equation simultaneously. Please try doing it with me just so you can practice. Now for solving equations simultaneously, we have multiple methods. Either you can just use the elimination method or you can do it by substitution. So I always prefer substitution because it works every time. So I can use 3x plus y equals 0. This is going to give me y equals minus 3x. I am going to use this in this equation. So I have 7x plus 2y equals 6. It would become 7x plus 2 minus 3x equals 6. 7x minus 6x equals 6. And this implies that your x is 6 and y is minus 3 into x, so it would be minus 3 into 6 and it would be minus 18. So the answer is going to be A. But again, for this step, since we were clear that the x coordinate would be 6 and the only option that has 6 as the x coordinate, this is minus 6, we're talking about 6, that is A. So I would be talking about A as the answer, right? There's no point in wasting your time in finding the entire answer when you know MCQs are the only option and you'll be answering these questions this way. Okay, let's talk about the next question. All right, now this is your fifth question and it says, now this is very interesting. Which point is above the line 4 by 3x plus y equals 1? Now you are interested in finding out a point that is above this line, the given line, right? But how do you determine that? For this, you need to have a basic idea about the line. So the line is going to be, okay, now let's say if you have no idea about lines and stuff like that, which I'm pretty sure won't be the case, you would be having some idea, but worst case scenario, this is your equation. Just do things. Plug in x equals 0. Plugging in x equals 0 would make this 0, it would give you y equals 1. And then plug in y equals 0. So when you will plug in y equals 0, let me write it down there. When you will write down y equals 0, this would become 0 and x is going to be 3 by 4. So what is this? This is first point, this is the second point. I am just going to connect both these points. This is, let's say this is 3 by 4 and this is 1. So this would be the first point. This is going to be a second point, and if I connect these 2 points, this would be a green line, right? So this green line is basically the line. Okay. Now, you need to see if minus 3 and 1 is above this line or below this line. Minus 3 would basically be somewhere here. If I need to continue the line just so we are able to find it correctly. The line would not be that proper, but just for your understanding, it would be something of this type, right? Okay. Now the first option is minus 3. It would be somewhere here. And this point is below the line. So this is not the answer. We're looking for above. Minus 3 and 1. Okay, there must be some issue. Both options are same. But yeah, again, this is not the answer. C says 3 and 1. It would be somewhere here and it would be here. And this certainly is above the line. So this is going to be the answer. And again, minus 4 and minus 1 would be somewhere here. So that is below the line. That is why it is not the answer, right? So for such scenarios, even if any one of you was not clear about lines, just thinking about things logically, we know in order to make a line, we only need 2 points. It makes sense. You need to connect 2 points and then that would give you a line. How do you find the 2 points? Using this and this. Once you have your line, just think about all the points. The ones below would not be the answer. The one above would be the answer, and the answer turned out to be C. All right, let's talk about the next question. Okay, now this is something very interesting, and I will just state the formula for this because students just keep on forgetting this. All right, what is the question? Okay, the question says distance of the point from the line is what? Now, obviously, in exam, the question could be of any type. So I'll write down the formula in general. Distance of a point from a line, right? This is something which we need to know in general because the question could be of any type, and I'll be writing down the formula. Distance d is going to be the mod of ax1 plus b phi 1 plus c divided by under the root a squared plus b squared. Okay, this is the formula which you need to memorize. If the question is about finding distance between a point from a line, then in order to find the distance of a point and a line, you need to follow this formula. You do mod of x1 plus b y1 plus c divided by root of a squared plus b squared. This is what you need to understand. Okay, now how do we find this? What is a, what is b, what is c, what is x1 and what is y1? Okay, this is a, then the coefficient of y is b, and then this number right here is c, this is x1, and this is y1. I keep on writing it as x2 for some reason. So it is basically ax plus by plus c equals 0. This is the equation of your line. And the point is x1 and y1. So using all the things written in red, you would be able to make sense. Okay. Now, in order to find the exact distance, we have mod. What is a? A is 2 multiplied by minus 7 plus by, it would be 13 plus 13. One 13 is this y coordinate, the other 13 is this c. Now all of this is coming in this mod divided by under the root a squared plus b squared. Now for some reason students are doing this number squared plus this number squared y. This is x1, this is y1, this is a, and this is b. A is the coefficient of x, b is the coefficient of y. So you will do 2 squared plus 1 squared, and upon simplification this would give you minus 14 plus 13. It would give you minus 1 plus 13. This all is going to give you 12, and this would give you 5, so it would be root 5. So the answer is going to be 12 divided by root 5, and it is D option, right? So just be clear, at times we have the correct thing in front of us, but for some reason we keep on using the wrong thing. That is not right. Please be clear about it. When I'm telling you, you have a squared plus b squared here, you won't be using this. Okay, please don't do that. You will be using this a and this b, and the answer is going to be 12 divided by root 5. All right, let's talk about the next question. Okay, now it says which is the intercept form of the equation px plus qy plus r equals 0. Now in general, I'm just talking about how it is in general. The intercept form is basically written this way: x by p plus y by q equals 1, where p and q are the intercepts. This is what you need to understand. This is certainly used, but for the cases when P and Q are the intercepts. This is your equation. What would be the x-intercept? For x-intercept, y is going to be 0. So I will equate this to 0 and it would give me x equals minus r by p. My x coordinate is minus r by p. So this won't work. It means this is not going to be the correct answer. Similarly, this is not the intercept form. This is not the intercept form. So the answer is going to be D. The intercept form is this, certainly. But then this p and q must be the x and y intercepts, right? In my given scenario, the x intercept would be minus r by p and the y intercept is going to be minus r by q. So it would be different. It won't be p and q. That is why the answer is going to be D. None. Alright, let's talk about the next question. Okay, now it is an easy question. Please try answering this to me. I want you guys to participate as well. You can comment in the comment box. It says the slope formula is given by, now we know that slope of any line can be calculated using 2 points. So it is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So the answer is going to be C in this case. For example, if x1 y1 is a point, this is what I was talking about. For some reason I'm always writing it as x2. x1 y1 is first point, x2 y2 is second point. If you are interested in finding out the slope, what do? We are going to do m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That is why the answer is C. Okay, so we are clear about the formula now. Let's talk about the next question. Okay, now it says the inclination of any line parallel to y-axis is. Now last time when we were talking about the I think 2017 past paper, something of that time, there was an answer choice as undefined. So the question was same, the inclination of any line parallel to y-axis, and students were telling me that the answer would be undefined. Yes, it would be undefined when they are talking about the gradient or the slope of the line parallel to y-axis. The gradient or slope would be undefined because it would be infinity. It is infinity for any vertical line. But if we talk about the inclination, this inclination, what is going to happen for this one? When we talk about inclination, we're basically talking about the slope, or not the slope, we're basically talking about the angle between the line and the x-axis, right? So it is basically the angle. Now, if it is a line that is parallel to y-axis, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. Let's talk about it this way. What is the angle between the green line and the red line? It is 90 degrees or pi by 2. So always remember, inclination is the angle between your line and the horizontal, that is 90 degrees or pi by 2 if we talk about radians. So the answer is going to be A, that is pi by 2. Alright, okay, so this was the ninth question. Let's talk about the next one. Okay. Two lines are parallel if and only if they have same distance, quadrants, slope, vertices. Okay. Now, if the length of two lines is same, that does not determine if they would be parallel or not. For example, if this is 2 centimeters long and this is also 2 centimeters long, but they can be perpendicular, so they are not parallel. Same quadrants, I'll be explaining these contents because this would help you understand a lot of content. So we have four quadrants: one, two, three, and four. When we say same quadrant, it could be there's a line like this and there's some other line like this. Now they're lying in the first quadrant, but they're not parallel. The slope, yes, we know whenever two lines are parallel, their slopes are equal. So they would be having same slope, right? And if the vertices are same, that does not determine if they would be parallel or not. So the answer is going to be C in this case. Okay. All right, let's talk about this 11th question. It says the equation of the line through x2, y2 parallel to this is. Now you are interested in finding the equation of a line that is passing through x2, y2 and it is parallel to another line. Let's talk about that other line. It is px plus qy plus r equals 0. I'll make y the subject. So qy is equal to minus px minus r and y is equal to minus p by qx minus r by q. Please be attentive while solving these questions because you won't be having time at the end for rechecking. You need to be sure about all these steps, okay? So it is the equation of the line through x2, y2 parallel to px plus qy plus r. In order to find the equation of any line, I need to have the slope of that line and a point on it. I have the point on it. Using this, I will find the slope of the line. So it is px plus qr plus y, and I'll make y the subject. So it is going to give me minus p by q as the slope. M is going to be minus p by q, and the point is going to be x2 and y2. So in order to find the equation, I know the formula is y minus the y coordinate of the point, that is y2, equals m x minus x2. So it would be y equals minus p by q x plus p by q x2 plus y2. Right? And now I need to take q common and it would give me qy, like I'll be taking the LCM. So minus px plus px2 plus y2q. This y would come there once I multiply it. I can take it to the other side and it would come here. So I can get rid of this one. I'm doing everything here to save time quickly. And upon simplification, I am going to get p of x plus qy minus px2 and then minus qy2 equals 0. So the answer is going to be D in this case because that is the only option which matches this. So the scenario was clear. I could see that the point on the line is this and the equation is this. Using the equation, I was able to find the gradient. Using the gradient at the point, I was able to figure out the equation. So that is it. These were some questions from the 18th chapter. In case of any queries, any difficulties, you can stop me. You can comment in the comment box. I'll answer you there and then. If you're interested in detailed contents and more coursework, then you can use the link in description to get yourselves enrolled for the live classes where we will be talking about all the past paper questions and all the contents related to those chapters. All right. So that is it for today. Then I will see you tomorrow